You know, there's still time to get me a late Christmas present and access for yourself to over 150 exclusive videos. Support the habit at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. Between my weekend videos, my Patreon bonus videos, and the occasional surprise video, I end up blurping out a little over 100 videos a year. And even then, there's still so many news stories I don't end up talking about. And so, as 2022 comes to a close, I thought it might be fun to look at 5 topics I put in my to-do pile and then didn't do for one reason or another. Probably the biggest story I didn't talk about was the Queen dying, which, as a comedy channel, think of all the lulls I missed out on there. Queen Elizabeth II died September 8th at the age of 96. 96! People were like, oh my god, can you believe the Queen died? Yeah, very easily. She was an old woman, and she died of being an old woman. As a Canadian, she's been that old bag on our money for pretty much my entire life. Like when I was 10 years old, 1991, this is what our $20 bill looked like. And then, hilariously enough, for some reason they kept updating her picture. Fucking real estate agents don't even do this on their bus ads. But for some reason, we were like, keep making the Queen look older. Maybe she thought it would work like the picture of Dorian Gray. If we kept making her look older on the money, she'd start looking younger in real life. But anyway, it was a big deal in England, where an estimated 250,000 people lined up for something like over 12 hours to walk past the casket for like a second. Now, in Canada, the royal family were kind of like the precursor to the Kardashians, if citizens had to pay taxes to fund Kim's Botox. But people would obsess about their personal lives. Tabloids would write about them all the time. There's a magazine here called Hello Canada that, I shit you not, every single cover has either a member of the royal family or Celine Dion on it. Or sometimes both. So I don't know, maybe when Celine Dion dies, Canadians will line up for 20 hours to walk by the box they stuffed her in. Anyway, the Queen's dead, Charles is now king, William's next in line, one of his kids will become king, and that kid will slip it into some distant cousin and slurp out another kid with a big forehead, and it'll become king. And so it'll go forever and ever. Because for some reason, England likes this bizarre tradition of having these rich people wield pretend power over them, while the citizens are the only ones actually keeping them rich, and someone else makes all the real decisions. Kind of like letting a child hold an unplugged video game controller and letting them think that they're actually playing the game. So obviously I didn't feel my predominantly American audience would care about that story. But here's something Americans do care about. Guns and freedom! Hoo doggas! So this story's out of Florida, because of course it is, where a sheriff made a statement that he would prefer people shoot home intruders to, quote, save the taxpayers' money. This might be the most American thing that ever America'd. Here's what happened. A scumbag named Brandon Harris is breaking into homes in a neighborhood. Cops get called. They're trying to find him. Meanwhile, Brandon here finds himself in the wrong house. The homeowner fires a few shots, Brandon runs, and then tries to break into more houses, where the cops finally corner him and arrest him. This is the full statement the sheriff made. And I want to say, as to the person, we don't know which homeowner shot at him. I guess they think that they did something wrong, which they did not. If somebody's breaking into your house, you're more than welcome to shoot them in Santa Rosa County. We prefer that you do, actually. So, whoever that was, you're not in trouble. Come see us. We have a gun safety class we put on every other Saturday. And if you take that, you'll shoot a lot better. And hopefully, you'll save the taxpayers money. One story mentions that this guy has been arrested 17 times before. And the cops are just like, ah, fuck, we wish that guy was a better shot so we didn't have to make it 18. Hey, I've discussed this before. I'm for the death penalty. But I don't think stealing people's jewelry and shit is a capital punishment-worthy crime. But I get it. Someone breaks into your home, politely asking them to leave probably won't work. You don't know if they're armed as well, and the cops have admitted that they're not gonna get there in time. I know y'all think I'm some big ol' lib when it comes to guns, but yeah, someone comes into your house? Fuck them. And at least the sheriff is like, come and actually learn how to shoot. We'll teach you, because all cops are such great marksmen. But yes, I think that if you're going to own a gun, you should know how to actually use it so you don't end up accidentally shooting your family. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but after you shoot your own kid in the face while trying to stop some guy from taking your PlayStation, you might be less excited about playing the new Spider-Man. In order to cover every bit of Kanye West's insanity this year, I would have had to basically devote the entire channel to it. But before he did a fashion show wearing a White Lives Matter shirt, and then went and made Alex Jones of all people uncomfortable as he professed his love for Hitler while wearing a GIMP mask, we had this story from earlier in the year that showed us how much he cares about people. Billie Eilish stopped a concert mid-song because she saw someone in the front row having an asthma attack or something. The story said that they needed an inhaler. She told the audience, "We're taking care of our people, hold on." Kanye heard about this and felt that it was a shot at his good pal Travis Scott, who had 10 people die in a crowd surge while he kept on performing. Kanye went to Instagram and said, all caps, "Come on, Billie, we love you. Please apologize to Trav and to the families of the people who lost their lives. No one intended this to happen. Trav didn't have any idea of what was happening when he was on stage and was very hurt by what happened. And yes, Trav will be with me at Coachella, but now I need Billie to apologize before I perform." Imagine hearing about someone being a decent human being and going, "That's an insult to my shitty friend who let a bunch of people die. Apologize." Billie responded in the comments saying, "Literally never said a thing about Travis. Was just helping a fan." Kanye's promise to have Travis Scott, who was banned from Coachella, appear with him on stage, while also threatening to boycott Coachella, was all for nothing, as he ended up canceling his appearance anyway. Not because Billie Eilish didn't let a fan die struggling to breathe, but because he felt it's a lot of pressure and stress on him right now, and he decided to take some time to focus on himself. Yeah, good thing he took that time off. Otherwise, he might have done something crazy. Like, I don't know, say some weird thing about Jewish people and get booted from his multi-million-dollar Adidas contract? I don't know. Anyway, musicians, if you see someone in distress at your concert, don't help them. You wouldn't want to hurt Kanye and Travis Scott's feelings. Now, I briefly mentioned Louis C.K. in my Why Are Comedians Creeps video, but did I mention he won a Grammy this year? And, not only that, got nominated for next year's Grammys with his most recent comedy album. I had considered doing this topic as a social media meltdown, with takes like, "Sorry boss, can't come into work. Louis C.K. got nominated for a Grammy again and I'm throwing up. Louis C.K. is nominated for a Grammy. Just a reminder that cancel culture isn't real." And, how is Louis C.K. getting a Grammy nomination in 2022? Make it make sense. It should be noted that Louis has admitted to what he did and apologized for his conduct multiple times, and seemingly wasn't invited to accept his award. It's not like the Grammys had him show up and jerk off in front of everyone on stage. But here's the thing about Louis C.K. You can literally avoid everything he does. The only way he makes money now is through ticket sales and from people buying his specials on his own website. They're not on streaming services. You don't indirectly support him by having a Netflix account like maybe you do with Dave Chappelle. You won't accidentally buy tickets to a show called Louis C.K. Live at Madison Square Garden, get there, and go, "Oh, it's that Louis C.K.? Oh, if I had known that, I wouldn't have come." I think that's a phrase he said in his apology. And as for the Grammys, the same year, they gave Record of the Year, the best song across all genres, to Silk Sonic's Leave the Door Open, a song where half the lyrics at the end are woo 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 and la la la. Oh yeah, wouldn't want to tarnish the prestige of the Grammys by giving one to Louis. And speaking of creeps, I've saved maybe the grossest story for last. An OnlyFans girl found out at the beginning of the year that one of her biggest fans was her own dad. Carla Ramirez revealed that she found out that her father had subscribed under 2 different accounts, and the way she found out, she says, "He had called me to play with myself for $150, and I could hear my mom in the background talking on the phone." Apparently, this is the culmination of years of abuse going back to when she was a kid. But that one person a minute ago wanted to throw up because a guy got nominated for a trophy. Puts that in perspective, doesn't it? Now, I'm all for supporting the creative endeavors of your children, but I can't even continue with that. That's too dark even for me. That's the problem with this topic in general and why I didn't do a video about it in the first place. What was I gonna say? Well, you know, when it comes to birthdays and Christmases, they say that dad's always the hardest to shop for. All this girl's gotta do is send him some feet pics and that's the holidays sorted. Oh, you laughed and you feel bad about it, I know. But in all seriousness, apparently, the mom and her little brother ended up getting the fuck out of the house once they found out what he'd been up to. And we can only hope this hunk of hog shit spends the rest of his life lonely and miserable, paying for rough HJs from the calloused hands of truck stop hookers who rob him afterward, eating hungry man dinners every night, eventually succumbing to an illness all alone in a state facility that just tosses his remains in the incinerator and disposes of him with the hobos who freeze to death. See? I told you this would be fun!